Hey friends, good morning. Sunday, July 24th, 7:45 in the morning. Here in New York City with Lisa.
Good morning.
It's early.
Gotta beat the heat. Trying to anyway.
So at the moment, it's like 82 degrees Fahrenheit, going up to 97 today. And the plan was to not ask Lisa to go out when it was 97 degrees Fahrenheit. Thus, the morning walk.
Early morning walk.
So in Celsius, like mid-20s to mid-30s today. Not going to hit 40, though the heat index might. Temperature will not.
Andrew's here. Good morning.
Hey, good morning, Andrew. So we're here in Central Park again. We're trying to think of things that are reasonably cool. A lot of shade. And today, at least at the moment, there's a nice breeze. Hope it sticks with us. So last week, we kind of really worked our way south. Today we're going north a little bit. Right now we are just to the east side of the reservoir. This is called the Bridal Path. Popular place for runners. Why don't we go peek at the reservoir here, though? We have a little entrance. We're going to see some flowers, hopefully. We don't know precisely where they are, although I have some ideas.
Adam is here. Good morning.
Morning, Adam. And there's also a triathlon happening in New York City today. And the running portion seems to happen on the west side of the park, so we may see that. Stay tuned.
Parth is here. Hello, hello. Good morning.
Parth, good morning. Say hello to the ducks who are making some noise. Victory, hello. All the way to Poland. We're in Central Park. We are trying to stay out of the heat today.
Wow, we've got a great breeze. I really hope it lasts.
Yep.
Helps a lot.
Wait for the next couple people to go. I saw some flowers yesterday, so we'll see those first. So this is the Jaclyn Kennedy Onassis Reservoir. I'll have a full walk from here soon, but I did do when it was 95 degrees. Saw a lot of turtles swimming. So Lisa, do you want to describe the course of the triathlon? You just had the map up.
I closed it.
But we'll find it for you guys. Because the first portion is pretty interesting.
You mean the swim?
Yeah. Why is it interesting?
Because it's in the Hudson?
Yep. Raise your hand if you would go swimming in the Hudson.
Just under a mile of swim in the Hudson. 24.8 mile bike ride.
And where's the bike ride? Is it along the Hudson River?
I think so. Yes, along the Hudson. And then finish with a 10K 6.2 mile run.
So they swim
the
down the
park.
Hudson, bike up the Greenway, and then run down Central Park.
Run down and then into Central Park, yeah.
Interesting. Prince Ice, good morning. Gigi, good morning. Well, Prince Ice in your case, good evening. Yeah, we're doing it a little early today. It's going to be
We gotta slow down, Sean.
it's going to be 97 degrees Fahrenheit today. Although supposedly a cool front is coming in. But
Much needed.
Today is supposedly the hottest day of this week's little heat wave. Yesterday I walked when it was 95. It was awfully hot. And I know at least one streamer, their phone overheated, and the streaming shut down. Although I don't know if it was the heat per se or if it was like the sun directly on the phone.
Either way, it's hot.
Either way, it's hot. Awfully hot. So we're trying to beat the heat. We're going to spend a little time in Central Park. We're going to see some different areas than we saw last time. And we may run into the New York City Triathlon, the running portion of which is here in Central Park. Hope everybody has their coffee.
Or another nice beverage, depending on the time.
Iced coffee today, perhaps? So last time we were here, we mentioned the trick of wayfinding in the park, which is when you find a lamp, they have numbers, sometimes letters. The first two of which tell you the cross street you're near. That one was 9520, so we know we're near 95th Street. That one, it's you can't read, but it's 9610, so we know we're near 96th Street. Reason that I'm bringing this up again is we need to find our way to 102nd Street today. So that will come in handy in a little while.
Donna's here, joining in her pajamas. Love it.
Donna, good morning. It's an early one today, a beat the heat walk. We're in Central Park, but we're going to try to do some different stuff today. I'm going to point the camera so we can get a view of Central Park South, otherwise known as 59th Street, and the towers of Billionaires Row on 57th Street. Really beautiful. So this is the first thing I wanted to see. There's a little more up ahead, but you'll see that in my Reservoir walk. We need to take this exit. Andrew says, heat wave, next to impossible to film in the heat. Yeah, it's so funny you mentioned this. We've been doing filming in all sorts of heat. One day we were on the ferry. We took a fairly long ferry, and it wasn't as hot as this, but the sun was directly beating on us, and yet the phone did survive that. But when it's 95 to 100, Yeah, I don't know how much luck we would have.
We have Bernard and Owen. Hello.
Chris MG is here.
Hello.
Owen, good morning. Bernard, good morning. Nice skyline. Yes, it sure is. So we are going the opposite direction of last time, at least for now. Walking north a little bit. This is one of the many paths. Lisa, how many miles of paths in Central Park?
Ooh, 50 something?
Yeah, I think it was like 58.
58 maybe? Yeah.
10,000 benches, 18,000 trees.
21 playgrounds. All of our Central Park facts from last week.
One of the facts Lisa shared was that there were 9 bodies of water, but we could only figure, I think, 7 or 8.
And we did some additional research after the fact.
And I think we still only got to like 8.
Yes, including being on the Central Park website, which is where we got the other facts. So,
Yeah,
not
even
sure
their
what happened there.
Their master list of
Does
bodies
not
of
list
water
9.
only lists 8. I think what was it? Was it like waterfalls maybe?
Yeah, but if they counted all the waterfalls, it's more than 9. So either way, it didn't add up.
Yeah, it didn't
so
add up.
we didn't quite figure that one out, but
Unsuccessful.
at least 8 bodies of water, we could say.
Why don't we go in this way? So we're here. We're going to cut through North Meadow and try to get to 102nd. We're going to look for the arch, because around here there should be some flowers.
It could be through the North Meadow too.
Let's see if we figure it
It's
out.
difficult figuring out exactly where the flowers are.
The thing is, if we go too far north, it gets very, very, very hilly.
S. Fields is here. Hello.
S. Fields, good morning. Chris MG. Yeah, normally we would do this at a few hours later our time, or at least high 80s, with a lot of sun. So unfortunately not today. But in this case, you were able to join, so we appreciate it. So we're going to turn right here. These are some of the northern baseball fields. There's also baseball fields on the Great Lawn, which we've seen many times, closer to Belvedere Castle. And there are baseball fields at the southern end of Central Park, the Heckscher Fields. Start to see many dogs in the park getting their morning constitutional.
This little one in front of us trotting along.
Him or her. Nibbles here. Hello.
Hello.
Andrew says the park's so big we can easily spend a whole day here. I think you could spend several days here, depending on exactly how much you want to see and how much time you want to spend at each spot. It's like the Met.
I was going to say the same thing.
You really can't
Yep.
do it all in one day unless you're doing the shortest, quickest tour possible. When you're in the sun, you really start to feel it.
Just going to remind Sean to adjust to pregnancy pace, please. Whew.
S. Fields, how are you doing? Little bird watchers.
Oh my goodness. All kinds of pups.
So the northern end of the park, on the east side, is Conservatory Garden, which we've done a couple of times. It's a series of 3 formal gardens under construction for a little bit. I think it's supposed to be open this summer, so again soon. That is Harlem Mere, which is utterly beautiful, and that's where you'll often see some interesting. I spotted a heron there recently. Although last time we think we saw a hawk, and then it turned out somebody thought it was a red-tailed hawk. Not that I know what a red-tailed hawk is.
Yes. We weren't able to capture it for you, but there was a couple of them up in a tree.
Yep.
And then later on, someone I follow on Instagram who's on the west side also saw them, did some research and said it was a red-tailed hawk.
Nabul and Chris, how are things in Europe? Has the heat come down at all? I know it did hit 40. That's pretty hot.
Some relief in the shade coming up. Really makes a difference being in the shade, huh?
Yep. It's definitely pretty warm, guys. Hank is here. Good morning. Nabul says still very hot. Oh, I didn't want to go underneath. We'll have to go back, sorry.
Why?
Path. I don't want to go underneath the path. I need to be on the path. Wrong turn. We're in the coming to the Northern Woods section, which is sort of like the Ramble. Easy to get lost in.
I don't come up here very often. This is nice.
No, it's very lovely up here,
Calm.
but it's very hilly, the reason we don't come very often.
Yeah.
At least at the moment. But today we are making an exception. A little bit. And I'm trying to find the what's the word I'm looking for? Least tall, shortest, but I don't mean nearest, path.
Flattest.
Yeah, flattest path to some flowers that we have been wanting to see. See, that would have taken us underneath, I guess, into the woods. Because I know there's paths in there. But that's not where we're headed.
That would be fun, but I don't think our signal would work very well in there either.
Probably not. Nabul says 2 p.m., 90 degrees. Yeah, it's going to be 97 here today at about that same time. Today is the hottest day of New York City's heat wave. Ambrose is here. Good morning. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Yes, that is us. Well, I think I already see where we're headed.
Oh yeah, this is what I thought it was.
If you see the yellow in the distance,
That's our
that
destination for this part of the walk.
is our near-term destination. I see a thumbnail in our future. I have a, if you search my videos for Central Park North, where I do a little more exploring around here. So if you want to see some of the spots that we're going to miss today, check that video out. There's a cannon up here. A lot of interesting stuff in Central Park. See some of these flowers. Beautiful. Clinton is here. Good morning. Thanks for joining us.
Hello,
so
good morning.
early. We're doing a little Central Park at the moment.
Here we are.
Oh wow.
Wildflowers.
Oh, there's a little garden here. Look at this, all sorts of colors. Red. Wow. Pretty good. Pretty good. Oh, I think we have to, I think the network. In the chat that I'm sorry about the buffering, we'll keep a move on, but hopefully they can see the flowers. Sorry about the buffering, folks, but I hope you're able to see these. It's the thing about streaming in Central Park. It is a challenge. Sign says, Native Meadow in progress. Incredible. Really beautiful. It just goes. So we're going to keep moving. We will make our way west. And hopefully if we're closer to the west side, we'll have a stronger signal. And we will see if we can find this triathlon. Although I suspect we might be a little early for the triathlon for this portion, but I guess I don't know for sure.
I'm not sure when it started.
Yeah.
I would hope early, given how hot it's going to be.
Yeah. So again, if you ever get lost in the park, you can look on the poles. This says C0302. So C is a little rare. Usually it's E or W for east or west. C.
Central?
Center.
Center?
Then the center drive. O2.
I don't know, 102?
102. Ambrose says, triathlon started really early, think it's over now. Okay. I mean, that makes sense because it's going to be so hot today. Wouldn't want to pass out from the heat. And I can't really imagine what they have to do in order to enable.
Oh, thank you.
Wouldn't want that water in my mouth.
Have fun.
Field says, you guys are brave. I'm going to spend near AC units.
Being inside is my plan for the rest of the day.
Boo. All right, I restarted my connection, so hopefully that helps a little bit. And then as we get farther west, hopefully that'll help too. Apologies for the buffering. We had all of our luck last week when we had remarkably few issues in the park.
Yeah, I don't think we really had any.
I hope we're able to show you up ahead because we have one of the waterfalls. Do they do, is it swim, bike, run, or
Yes.
swim, run, bike?
Swim, bike, run.
So if we see them, it would be runners. Okay. So to the right of us are the North Woods. It is really beautiful and it's a fun place to hike and wander. A lot of streams, little interesting things to see. I don't know if if you could see that city bike. There was a dog in the basket.
S. Fields, today's triathlon for me, eat, nap, Netflix. Sounds good to me.
Now you're talking. So we're gonna hang a left here and then hang a right, and if you could hear it, you can hear the waterfall.
Morgan.
I thought you were going to say the triathlon was from the bed to the fridge to the couch.
Well, that sounds about right. That works.
So this is one of the more beautiful bodies of water, although it's been filled with algae.
And this is really nice. Oh, and this breeze, I'm so thankful for it.
There's shade and a breeze. Ooh. We will take it. Amber says S. Fields trains every day. Andrew says, how about going to Coney Island in summer? Yeah, we will definitely make it to Coney Island. We actually did the first...
Yeah, the first Friday's fireworks, we were there.
Yep. That one we, sorry, we did not stream. We posted it as a recorded video. But we did see the first fireworks Friday of the year. Of the season.
Can hear the waterfall. This is a really beautiful shot here under the arch. Did you get that?
Yeah, is this Greystone Arch? If you wouldn't mind double checking.
Glen Span Arch.
Glen Span, sorry.
This is beautiful.
Yeah, and you can walk underneath over there. We're gonna...
Yeah, it's a little treacherous getting down though.
So, this is where the water's coming from.
Oh, this is really beautiful up here.
You can see it slowly moving. That's what's making the sound. So we're going to walk around the water a little bit.
You want to go this way?
I think this will be a little easier.
Okay.
And I often see bird watchers over here. And there's a gentleman right there with
one of those
foot-long
massive lenses.
Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. Yeah, we'll definitely do more from Coney Island, and we'll also do Rockaway Beach, which has been in the news recently. Every day they've had to stop the swimming there due to shark sightings.
Oof. No, thank you.
Trying to see what they see. Of course, I can't see what they see
The whole
because they're looking
community
through.
that they have, bird
Looking.
watchers.
I can't see what they see because they're looking through a gigantic zoom.
Right. Oh, there's some glass. Be careful. Oh, look at that bench. It's very nice.
Isn't it great over here? Oh, I disturbed the turtles. I wanted to see them and I disturbed them. My apologies to the turtles. There's still one.
Oh, it's an algae covered turtle.
Yep, there were 3, but I scared 2 of them, I guess.
See if I can get a picture.
There's the other, there's one of them. You can see it because you can see the,
Oh, the little head.
yeah, because you can see
Oh
the
yeah, there he
algae
is. He's moving.
Not very stealthy when the water's like this.
Oh look, even this one has a plaque.
And the answer is Margaret Hawley. But if the while I think on thee, dear friend, all losses are restored and sorrows end.
Wow.
So deep. Prince Ice says that it looks like a green tea latte. It absolutely
Yeah.
does. Ambrose says Central Park Conservatory says the algae produces more oxygen than the trees. Wow.
Wow.
Is it healthy? I mean, oxygen's good. I get that. I mean, more is it healthy for the water or is it unhealthy? Like to the, I guess is what I'm asking.
For the wildlife that's in the water.
Yeah. Some of the geese.
Oh, is she feeding them?
I guess so. Yes. That is a definite yes. Just dangerous for drinking, humans and dogs. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know a ton about it.
Another little waterfall.
Yep. Oh, I don't know if I picked that up, but a rat just hopped across the stream.
Oh,
That was
really?
pretty funny. Andrew says, not Netflix and chill, bagels and walks and chill. Spot on. Ambrose, that's good to know about the dogs especially. I don't think I had any idea that it was, you know, dangerous for them. So
Look at this guy rolling around.
we will have to be on the lookout, make sure we don't see any drinking it. So it's a little later, and now we've made it closer to the west side, so I suspect we will see many, many, many people walking their dogs over here now.
Oh, look at this guy with his little walker.
Wagging its tail, seems to be happy.
The other guy's giving him a treat. He asked the owner if he could give him one. He wanted in on the fun that the corgi was having.
We've made it to the west side. The beginning of countless playgrounds over here.
Countless, but we can count them. 21 total in the park. Is it 21?
I think it was 21, yeah.
And I think it's 29 ball fields.
Gigi says Central Park can be a soothing place. Yeah, totally. It really is one of my favorites. Have a couple walks from Central Park coming up, actually. I tried to go one day last week.
It was a rough week for walking.
It was a very rough week. It was pretty hot, which wasn't totally the problem that day. It was that a storm came in towards the end, so I had to stop. Wind picked up to 60 miles per hour. Had to get on a bus just to get out of the rain.
Because you did not bring an umbrella.
No, I didn't bring anything. That was fun. So it was my next Central Park recorded video. You'll see it starts out as a beautiful day, and then when I get to Sheep Meadow, the sky starts to turn kind of gray. And I think you might be able to hear some of the thunder before the storm, but then I stopped. And then yesterday I was in the Reservoir, 95 degrees, awfully hot. I hear cheering. Do we think it could be the triathlon?
Maybe.
Maybe we'll see some of the tail end of it.
Just gotta slow down a little bit, Sean. I know this is torturously slow for you, but I'm noticing a big change from last week to this week. As we get officially 1 week away from the third trimester, me and Minnie Bagel are getting much, much slower.
It's getting hot too.
And it's hot, yeah.
Some people really are not
No, that's
nice.
disgusting.
People left a lot
Terrible.
of trash here.
Why would you do that?
That's not nice. If we do go to the race.
Andrew, I couldn't agree with you more.
If we do go to the race, the music is going to kill the stream, but ah well.
Did you see what Andrew said, Sean?
Andrew says, I think you guys should start walking with the dog now. Oh, you've missed this conversation. Lisa, what's the latest? So, here's the thing. I see that fencing, so I don't know that we can get in there. Maybe on the other
Maybe we
side.
just get a peek.
I think let's go this way. Let's go this way. We'll go around.
It is now 8:32 a.m.
So what's the dog update, Lisa? What's
The dog
what's the
update
history?
is-
What's the history here?
I had to get approval from our building.
Yeah,
I
so-
really want a dog.
So one of the things about New York City is not every building lets you have pets. Some don't let you have any. Some let you have certain pets. Some let you have any pet you want within some amount of reason. Ours is in the middle category. You can have certain pets.
And it's weird because they changed their policy, but if you had already had a dog, you got grandfathered
super
in. So you had to go through this whole process, which I did, and I got approval to get a dog. That's the whole, because I really wanted a dog, Sean not so much, so I just went and took action to at least get us the approval so
And
we
then
could
what
then
happened?
move forward from there.
And then
So
what happened?
that was earlier in the year, and probably within a matter of weeks later, we found out I was pregnant. And while I still wanted to get a dog, Sean couldn't quite wrap his head around a new dog and a new little person. So
at the moment we're
sticking with the little person.
we've elected the human at the moment. But I take Lisa to Central Park often.
He just teases me with the dogs is what he does.
So she can see and spend time with all the dogs. Including this one right here.
Is it hot in New York? Yes, it is.
So when we started, it was about 82. Is it a little warmer yet?
Yes, and today is officially the hottest day of our, what is it, week-long heat wave we've had?
We're gonna take the path, take the non-path. So I think we should cross.
We have Australia here with us. Hello. Hi from the future, yes.
Oh, Mitchell and Rachel, we haven't seen you in a little bit on a live stream. This is one of our earlier ones, which is probably more convenient for you. Nice to see you. Been a little bit. So we'll hop over to the path. So it does look like we can see the tail end of the...
Yep, that's some runners.
Yeah. So we didn't miss it
I
entirely.
think this is where they enter the park.
Wow. Rachel and Christina, let us know what time it is where you are.
They did, 10:34 p.m.
Oh, excuse me, 10:34 p.m. Yeah, so when we start later, it's like 11 or midnight. And what's the temperature?
Oh, look, here's my favorite, little French bulldog.
So today is a triathlon, and what we learned is that they swam down the Hudson. Crazy. I just can't imagine swimming in the Hudson River. It's legitimately mind-boggling to me. They biked up, we think, the Hudson River Greenway, which is a wonderful walk, and we've been meaning to do that again soon. And now they're doing the running portion down the West Drive here in Central Park. And it looks like the drive is partially open to exercisers, so you saw some bikers bike right through the race as a guy screamed at them to stop.
Well, we have Lynn here in Washington State, bright and early, 5:36 a.m.
Ooh, good
Thank
morning.
you for joining us.
Chris MG, swimming in the Hudson, OMG. Yeah, no, there's a lot of things I'd be interested in doing as, part of my New York City experience. I cannot say swimming in the Hudson is on that list.
No.
I've sailed in the Hudson. I've done the sailboat. I was trying to think if I've done kayaking. I don't think I've done the kayaking, but I've done
No.
sailing in the Hudson.
But we did learn when we did a walk on the west side that they offer free kayaking over there,
Yes.
which is pretty nice.
14 degrees here, Sunshine Coast at the moment, winter here. Wow. So it's, what did you say, 85?
Yeah, something like that.
85 Fahrenheit. Going up to 97 this afternoon. Which, let me tell you, entirely too hot.
It's already too hot, and we're going up another 12 degrees. Oof.
I think yesterday I did 2 miles. I normally do, my walks are often 7 or 8 miles.
Are we crossing over to the path on the other side?
Yeah, we're going to try to make it to the path. So I normally do 7 or 8 miles. Yesterday I just did 2. I came home and my shirt was wet for an hour. Awfully hot. So imagining that these folks have effectively run 2 races already and still going strong, I am impressed. I would not look like that if I had attempted 2 races already. 58 Fahrenheit, yeah, so we've got about, by the end of the day, 40 degrees on that. Yeah, it's like, I think I said earlier, it's going to be like mid-20s Celsius here to the mid-30s. Not quite 40 today, though the heat index, what it feels like, may get there. But by that point, we will hopefully be basking in air conditioning.
Definitely.
And we've been stocking up on water. So the thing about New York City is, oftentimes people are in either a walk-up or an elevator building. We happen to be in an elevator building, actually fairly high. And knock on wood, we won't have any power issues, but I've been thinking what a complete and utter disaster it will be if the power goes out.
Trying not to think about those things.
Not for myself, but for Lisa's condition.
That would not be ideal, to say the least.
Not at all. So we've been stocking up. We have some food, we have some water. Hopefully nothing like that will happen. Happens in New York like every 10 years. I mean, like a real power outage, not, just one neighborhood. Fingers crossed. No energy crisis here. Yeah, at the moment, energy is not really the primary issue. So gas prices have come down for folks that affects. Thankfully, we don't have to drive. We can take public transportation. What the concern is in the States right now is just that the heat. Because some of the older equipment can't handle the heat. And then other times it just overheats in general because it really does get entirely too hot. One thing I saw is there's 2 types of trains, passenger trains in the northeast of the United States. There's the regional train and the Acela. The Acela is our quote-unquote high-speed train. It's not high-speed by global standards, but they shut down the Acela because due to the heat, I think there's concern about the tracks. So all trains at the moment are running at the slower speeds. There are no high-speed trains in the United States on the Northeast because of the heat. So it's all about the heat right now.
Oh, this is a cute playground. The little
It's got some
animals, water. Perfect for today.
That's pretty cool. Safari Playground, this one is called.
Makes sense.
Rebuilt through the generosity of the Women's Committee of the Central Park Conservancy in 1997 and 2019. Yeah. Yeah, when there's families playing, I don't do a ton of filming of the playgrounds.
That area down there, there's nobody.
Yeah, I got the animals. Rachel and Christina say, here we're being asked to cut back on electricity and gas usage. Yeah, I mean, they do something similar here, which, you know, they'll ask people not to turn their air conditioners on so high. And, you know, it wouldn't surprise me if there would be some days where they'd ask people maybe not to, when it's super hot, you know, they encourage people to stay inside. We also have cooling centers. So if you're, you know, there's a lot of folks, especially older folks, who may not have air conditioning or may...
It's not powerful enough.
It's not powerful, I was going to say, but also their budget just may... I mean, it can be... I have been in apartments in New York City that had very bad insulation.
There's a lot of factors that can go into why
so,
you would need to go to a cooling center.
So those are often in the libraries, but it turns out all the Petcos are also cooling centers here. Petco is a pet store. And so obviously those are pet friendly. So if you have a dog, you could go to the Petco, cool off.
Andrew's calling out your voice. You got a compliment on your voice last week too.
Oh, that's very nice. But the people come for Lisa. We've had a decent amount of shade on this side, so it could be worse.
Says the man who's not pregnant.
Are you having water?
Yeah.
Andrew said it had to survive 5 days of 40 degrees in Dubai once. Oof. Yeah, I mean, I'm from Texas, so I'm very familiar with 100+ degree weather and high humidity. That's also where I learned to become a completely true believer in air conditioning. I am not one of those people who thinks air conditioning is a luxury. I view it as an absolute requirement.
So I'm just thinking about where we end up. Do we want to maybe cross back over to the east side?
Sure. We can go. It's a good spot to do that. I think 79. Walk across. Trying to think. But as we go up ahead, we'll see what it looks like. Chris MG, never heard of a cooling center. Cool. Yeah, I was mentioning to people in the chat last week, like if you're in Europe, if you have some version of that, to take advantage, because a lot of the home conditioning, or it's, you know, not so. Yeah. I was reading an article yesterday in a British paper. I'm forgetting which paper, but it was talking about, you know, why is it such a problem in Europe? Some of it was the design of the homes themselves, you know, not. I guess they just, what they were designed to do was retain a lot of heat, which seems problematic. When it gets super hot.
Are we going to be near is the theater before? Theater is before the 79th Street cross.
Well, the reason
right?
I was saying 79 was you can go to the restroom there.
Well, I'm asking because there's a restroom at the
yeah.
theater, and I don't know if I'm going to make it to 79th Street. It's getting hard, guys, as we get further along in the pregnancy.
Yes, that is closer. I don't know if you guys saw one news update. I forget if we mentioned this on the last stream. You might not have known it yet. Is that the Loeb Boathouse will be closing.
Oh yeah, that hadn't been announced when we did our stream last week.
Yeah, that might have come in during the week. Yeah, so the Loeb Boathouse, a beautiful restaurant, and it had been closed for the last couple of years, but reopened, and has apparently been doing, quite a bit of good business. Every time we see it, it's full, and I think they even confirmed that. I guess they're blaming the cost of goods and so forth. Oh, Rachel and Christina, that's so kind of you. Big.
Thank you.
New York City, thank you. Thank you for the $5 Australian.
Ambrose, yes, the theater restroom is reopened. It had been closed, but it is now reopened.
Well, we'll see what the situation is today.
I mean, last time we were here, it was reopened, so.
There's a lot of restrooms in the parks. I always tell people, because restrooms in New York City are not always obvious, that the parks actually do a pretty good job. I'm a huge fan of the New York City Parks Department. And when I was doing my little wander around the city, parks restrooms were often both open and clean, which is more that can be said for a lot of things.
And I think there's a lot of diversity there, and like one of them started like a Spanish speaking group.
Come.
Alrighty.
Everyone's calling their dogs.
Don't know, but Andrew says, don't know, but this park gives me the vibe of Dwayne Johnson's Jumanji. Yeah, we're on the west side, and especially if you go farther north, it's really, woods and, I could see why you would say kind of jungly looking. And it's so green lately.
Well, when you really go into the inside.
Yeah, there's two sections, the North Woods and the Ramble, and if you really go in them, you can get completely lost. There's little streams and pathways and waterways and stuff. Okay, we will attempt to cross. Make our way to the pine trees, towards the theater. We are going to attempt to do this, I think, after those two women, so as not to disrupt the race whatsoever. As best we can. Big shout out to anybody who's in the triathlon. I really can't imagine doing that.
And what a day. So hot. Whew.
Yeah, 85 degrees right now. Big props to anybody with the ability to do that.
He had his medal.
So had we stayed on the other side, that we would have been entering the Seneca Village area. I always mention it, worth reading about the history. So if you aren't super familiar, Google Seneca Village and read about the history of Central Park and what was here beforehand and who was here beforehand. So to our left, which is now east, this is called the Arthur Ross Pine Tum. And it's sort of a little pine tree forest. A lot of exercise. What do they call it? Like I think there's some volleyball and there's some other little exercise things that you can do in there.
Swings.
Swings, yeah. It's super beautiful.
You don't see a lot of swings in the park, actually.
Well, the southwest end, which is where we spend kind of the least amount of time because it's just the farthest from us, is probably the biggest kids area, I think, because that's where like the carousel. But it's just the place we spend the least amount of time because it's kind of farthest from us.
These also have swings that adults can get on. You don't see those even. They're even more rare.
So as a reminder, this is the last third of the triathlon. These folks have already swam in the Hudson River and biked up the Hudson River Greenway. Do you know in miles how long each
I was going to
section?
say they must bike down and up because they swim just under a mile and they bike just under 25 miles.
Wow.
So they must have to do that a couple times, right?
Yeah, because the west side is about 14 miles. The island is about 14 miles long. I mean, I don't know how much of the island they were biking.
Right.
Maybe 10 miles of it.
And then they run a 10K, 6.2 miles.
Wow. That's good. Got it. So maybe they swam up, did a bike down and up, and then back down Central Park for the run. Interesting.
Chris MG has to leave. Thank you for joining us.
Chris MG, so glad you could join live. Loved having you. Christian says, swing, it's like watching a hamster on a wheel. Andrew says, our favorite part of Central Park. Well, what's your favorite?
My favorite?
Yeah.
That's a hard question. To think about it for a moment. I do really like when you're deep in the woods. The two places you mentioned, the Ramble. I think probably the Ramble's where I've spent more time sort of getting lost in. I just think it's so amazing that you can be in the middle of a city and then be in, that sort of environment where you feel totally disconnected from what's going on outside of it,
I think my favorite is the pond, which is at the southeast corner of Central Park.
That is a beautiful spot too, yeah. That's probably one of the most picturesque spots, I would say.
But there's so many things. The thing I probably do the most of is the Reservoir because it's very convenient for us. It's
yeah,
about a mile
I
and a
really
half.
liked that when I was running. That was probably one of my favorite spots during that time.
And it's fun no matter the time of the year, although I always tell people in winter when it ices over, it is incredibly slippery, but it's really beautiful. But the pond is probably my favorite.
Oh, Ambrose said they reduced the mileage because of the heat.
Emergency
Interesting.
order, yeah, I believe it. I mean, it's really hot. It's very hard to describe.
Yeah.
It's very hot. We've left out with a lot of shade. But when you're in that sun, whew. A lot of these flowers. If you Google the pond at Central Park, the famous bridge there is the Gapstow Bridge. Beautiful. And it's another one that I would say the water right now doesn't look super great. I wonder if it's also you know, like some algae or something is, I don't know, something with it. But especially autumn and winter, super, super beautiful over there. But right now what's nice over there is the flowers around it. It's all colorful.
I thought you would have said your favorite spot is Sailboat. What is that called?
That's called Conservatory Water.
Conservatory Water.
I mean, that's the thing. I like. It's hard to pick a favorite,
Yeah.
but I think the pond is really beautiful. Conservatory Water is the model sailboat pond. That's a fun place to sit, and oftentimes there's music there. There's a Le Pond Quotidien, so you can have lunch. It's pretty good. Looks like the door is open.
Okay, I will give you my microphone and take a short break.
All right, we will see you in a bit. Maybe we'll go look at the race. If I can turn the mic off, okay. We're gonna go watch the triathlon. We'll see Lisa momentarily. We are near the Delacorte Theater. We've seen a lot of the name Delacorte in Central Park. They were great contributors to the park, including the Delacorte clock, the beautiful mechanical clock at Central Park Zoo. And they also gave the Alice in Wonderland statue, among, I'm sure, many other things. So this is the water station and the Gatorade station. Andrew says, walking Central Park at night. Yeah, I mean, we do some sundown ones. It's been a little bit because we just haven't been going out to eat quite as much lately. But sometimes what we would do is walk through the park to get to the west side. We do, like lots of restaurants on the Upper West Side or near Lincoln Center. It's been a little bit since we've done that. We definitely, it's something we do. So when the time is right, we will. But we don't do like late night, obviously. But I will catch a sunset here periodically. Overdue for one. Don't recommend late night. Prince Ice says, imagine Central Park not there. Yeah, no, I mean, when you see a map of Manhattan, because it's a relatively small island, and you see just how much of the island Central Park takes up, it is, in retrospect, totally incredible that they had the foresight to do it. Like I said, do look up the history, though, of Seneca Village, because, obviously people had to be displaced to create it, but altogether, it's really an incredible story. Christina Rachel, three-legged dog. Yeah, and earlier we saw a dog that had sort of a doggy wheelchair, but they both seemed happy. We wish them the best. All the treats that they deserve. Hopefully Lisa will see me. I'll try to pay attention. I shouldn't wander too far. So I think after this we will walk just a little bit further south and we'll head towards Bethesda Fountain. That's probably where we'll end. We'll find some place over there to sit. Hopefully we'll catch some music. And then I will have to take Lisa for some breakfast. It is probably a bagel sundae, if I had to guess. So let me scroll up for a second. So Ambrose was saying bike 12.4 miles, run 2.5. And Ambrose, do you know how long the swim was? I'm just blown away by these people. Like even a shortened one, incredible accomplishment. And like a lot of them they don't look terribly winded. Just incredible. Somebody was just saying this is the last half mile. Amazing. Really are a lot of folks. Lisa is on her way. Amazing. Swim 0.93 miles. Dang. That's super impressive. I mean, I'm sure the water felt good this morning. You probably want to finish with the water. Go dunk your head in. She was doing a little soak in the water setup. I do not blame her one bit. So again, this is the New York City Triathlon. Last section, run in Central Park. Incredible achievement. I'm going to turn on Lisa's mic. Bear with me. And we're going to make our way over to the fountain, and then we'll probably call it a day around there.
Is my mic on?
Should be, yeah. Let us know if the sound is coming through, but it should be.
Well, the restroom was open. However, it needs some attention.
Not in the best repair?
There were 10 stalls.
Well, I was thinking...
The last one I tried was the only one with any toilet paper.
Well, I was thinking, I mean, obviously the race has these porta potties, as we call them, but I was thinking another reason to go farther down was that being at the first restroom next to a race probably isn't the best idea.
I mean, the one near the fountain is always a disaster, too. And the stalls in there are quite tiny.
Yeah, not spacious.
It's getting a little more difficult.
So Rachel and Christina, I don't know if we haven't seen you on a live stream recently, but Lisa is pregnant and coming up to the third trimester.
1 week away. We got a little mini bagel coming.
We have a little mini bagel in the oven. So we've been trying to be more creative about the walks we take. We have to be very mindful of speed and facilities now.
Yes. Well, Sean commented the other day, I was reaching for a glass out of the cabinet and he had set something down on the counter and my belly knocked what he had set down. So
this is the Swedish Cottage Marionette Theater. We were on the other side of it last week looking at the Shakespeare Garden. Yeah, your dimensions have altered slightly?
Yes. And while I never forget that I'm pregnant, it's hard to maneuver sometimes. I forget that my circumference is different.
I think one of the things we learned is the last couple weeks the baby is in a high growth period.
Ooh, and we've got a mover and a shaker. He likes to be active.
Andrew, thank you for being with us. Glad you could join. We'll see you next time.
Yes, thank you so much. On our bright and early walk today.
So, for those of you who are newer to the channel,
Oops,
let's kick that out of the way.
it's dangerous.
Sorry, for those of you who are newer to the channel, Lisa and I do these live streams on Sunday. We will have to be very creative in the coming weeks, both from a heat perspective. As we get deeper into summer, it's kind of crazy that it's going to be 97 today. It's only July. It's not August or something. And then during the week, I try to post a video every single day from New York City. So this week, I know so far, I have a long Park Avenue walk. I have a Central Park walk before the storm. That's a fun one. I have an Upper East Side walk because one of my viewers really likes the I'm going to forget the name of it. It's the Ralph Lauren mansion, but Rhinelander mansion, I think it's called. So I checked that out.
Oh, that one is that on the 70s?
72nd.
Yeah.
So I kind of did a little Upper East Side walks, starting from there. And then the last one I have recorded so far is yesterday's walk from the Reservoir, 95 degrees, very hot. So a very Upper East Side-y kind of week.
Yeah, you didn't want to travel too far out.
Yeah, it was entirely too hot, so I did stuff kind of centered from our neck of the woods. But I still need to think of a couple more, so TBD. August is the hottest month in the U.S.
Generally speaking, the deeper into summer you get.
Yeah, I mean, it's July and August.
Yeah.
I think the thing with July is some of the early part of the month is not as hot. Towards the end, it gets really hot. August, one feels like it's almost hot the entire time.
Yeah. My first time ever going with Sean to visit Texas, where he's from, was in August. And that was something.
Yeah, the thing
Texas in August.
The thing about Texas is the humidity. A lot of people might not realize it's incredibly humid. Mm-hmm. The other thing about Texas is people will not walk. So even if you're going like from one store to another in like a shopping mall, people will often drive from one part of the parking lot to the other. But the result is you get out of your highly air-conditioned car. You get out of your highly air-conditioned car and the heat envelops you like an oven. But I haven't been to Texas in a while.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We haven't been anywhere in a while.
Yeah, I mean, we went to upstate New York. We've been to Michigan.
Yes, we wanted to make sure we visited your grandmother. Thought that was important.
Yeah.
How old is she now? Is she 92, 93?
Yeah. Spend time with your loved ones.
Luckily, we were able to do that in a safer window during this pandemic.
Not during the wave.
Yeah. And certainly not when I was pregnant, so.
Rachel says she's only been to Hawaii and California always in October. Well, we did our honeymoon in Hawaii. It was one of the most beautiful places on earth.
That was in April.
Quite a flight from New York City, though.
Yes. 11 hours.
Utterly beautiful. And California is really beautiful any time of the year. California is very funny. In a lot of California, you can safely assume it is about 70 degrees all the time.
I mean, San Diego, definitely. It's like perfect.
Yeah, as we come to the end of the race, I guess we're going to have some. Let's go this way. A lot of music. Amber says half mile to the finish line. Yeah, we're going to try to get away from some of the music, but we'll get pretty close to it. So I mentioned the pond at Central Park. This is the lake. Christian said there was an old dude running in work pants. Yeah, it's very funny. You know, you'll often see people running in the strangest. We haven't seen any costumes today. It might be both too hot and.
Well, when you're swimming and
yeah, I was going to say a
biking.
triathlon might make that a little tricky. Although you do have to change your clothes. There's a little mini DJ booth. Well, there goes the monetization. Wanted to check out some more of these flowers. Look at this. So from Australia, it's a 9-hour flight. I mean, that's still a long flight in my book.
Yeah.
The longest I've done is I have gone to China a couple of times and was able to get a direct flight. And I think it was 15 hours, if I remember correctly. And my story about my flight to China the first time, because I had a very different experience the first time and the second time. But the first time I went, I flew on China Eastern Airlines, which I did because it was a partner with Delta, which we do a lot of flying on when we were flying more. And it was for business, and I was very, at the time, lucky enough to get put into business class, which on a 15-hour flight, let me tell you, that is nice. But one thing I learned is, at the time, the airline pilots smoked. I mean, this wasn't that long ago either. I don't mean like this was 20 years ago. I mean, this was like 5 years ago. So that was an interesting experience. And then when I was leaving China that trip, so the first trip, and the trips were about a year apart. The first trip when I left, I got to the airport. And you know, in American airports, they have the baskets of stuff that they've taken from passengers, you know? Usually it's water bottles, liquid stuff for security reasons. In China, they had those baskets. It was all lighters. I mean, I've never seen so many lighters in my life. And it was, because at the time, I guess smoking was so prevalent. The second time I went, there was no smoking. I didn't see people smoking. And it was 1 year apart. So I don't know. It was super interesting though. Fascinating place. We mentioned, I think before, but I did see a Joe's Pizza there.
Yeah, that's funny.
Exactly the same signage as here. And I've never seen so many KFCs in my life.
Oh no. Rented a car in Los Angeles and drove on the wrong side.
Oh boy.
Whoops.
Yeah. Don't recommend that.
That's not good.
That's very funny though. Hopefully funny because nothing bad happened. So we've mentioned this before. I love this little walkway here. And he's not here today, but this is where you will often find the Central Park Barber. So if you need a haircut, and especially if you, for whatever reason, want to do it outside, there's a gentleman called the Central Park Barber. You can Google him. He's got Instagram. He's got a piece in the New York Times profile. And he does his haircuts right over here.
Nice shady spot for it.
Yeah. Well, that was a super genius move on his part. I wonder if he had been doing it before, but during the last couple of years, it was kind of a genius thing to think of an outdoor setup.
Oh, it looks like the race ends near
must
near
end.
the fountain.
Yeah. So I guess we're gonna go to the very end. We'll see. We'll see what we see, and we'll see what we have access to. Does anybody have a sense of how many participants there were in the triathlon? It's bigger than I guess I would have thought. Oh, that's cool. Always fun when you see your runner. I have a great memory because Lisa ran the New York City Marathon, and my mom flew in to surprise her.
That was great.
And we spent the entire day chasing Lisa via public transportation.
Through all 5 boroughs.
Trying to stay a step ahead of her.
I think I saw you like what, maybe 3 times? That's
3 or
pretty
4
good.
times, yeah, we did it pretty good. What's funny about the New York City Marathon, although Lisa would probably say it's not funny, is you finish and you still have to walk like a mile to get out of the security and all the setup. You know,
it was awful.
It's a whole thing.
It was awful.
So you've done this thing. Oof. You've put every ounce of your soul into it.
Oh my goodness.
And then you still have a mile to go.
I just wanted to get out and see Sean and my mother-in-law.
And have some food and drink.
Oh my goodness.
Nope. Not allowed.
Not yet. Oh, photos from around New York is here. Hello.
Photos, hello. It's good to see you. Here in Central Park, we are right alongside the New York City Triathlon. Clinton says my first flight to New York City. Someone's doing some those poppers, confetti cannon. My first flight, 1980, when the no smoking sign was turned off, there was 0 visibility in the last half of the plane.
Oh my goodness.
Well, it was super funny on that China Eastern plane because smoking was most assuredly not allowed. But I guess if you're in the cockpit, the rules did not apply.
Wow.
I just couldn't believe it. I was, because having grown up in the United States post the smoking era for the most part, it really came as a shock. I also remember asking for cranberry juice, and they looked at me like I was completely out of my mind.
Wow, I've never seen a race curve in there.
Yeah, why don't we pause here because we got a good skyline view and we can see some of the runners go to the very end. Christian says, I run in my socks or wrestling shoes. Normal shoes are bad for you. Interesting. I know there's been a big push towards those finger toe shoes, and shoes that are less traditional, I guess you'd say.
I've seen people doing races in the park barefoot.
Yeah, I mean,
that feels crazy to me.
I understand why you might think barefoot could be interesting, but not on concrete, like not on man-made surfaces in my mind.
In a major city, with lots of
New York
things
City,
happening.
In New York City, a lot of debris.
Yes, exactly.
But to each their own.
Yeah, exactly.
Quite a few, I'm sure for the heat they brought extra emergency services, but hopefully without incident. A lot of people doing this on their birthday. He's mentioned birthdays a few times.
Well,
I think I can say with absolute certainty I will never do a triathlon on my birthday.
I was going to say, my birthday is a week from today, and I will definitely not be doing anything like that.
Yeah, Rachel and Christina, that was Billionaires Row, so 57th Street. I have a video from Billionaires Row if you want to check that out, where I specifically kind of look for some of the big ones. So feel free to check that out. I guess why don't we walk over there, because they have a whole thing set up for the... We'll take a quick peek at the triathlon event space. This is maybe the only time I've ever been to Bethesda Terrace and not seen a line of pedicabs and horses. I wonder if it is too hot for the horses. I wonder if there is like a temperature where they don't.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Every couple of years at least there's controversy about the horses, and I know they're having a big fight again, which is should they or should they not have the horse carriages. I will say it made a huge difference when they got rid of cars in the park.
Oh yeah, that was
it's
terrible.
so much safer for everybody, including the horses. So I don't know if that made a big difference for them. I think it must have. But there's always controversy because I guess.
I'm not sure how. Oh, I guess there's a band playing.
Yeah. We're just going to take a quick walk through of this, and then we'll probably go sit at the fountain. Apologies. We've been watching the videos with our mom on TV. Oh, amazing. Well, I hope you've enjoyed them. I think yesterday's was from the High Line, which is one of my favorite walks. So if you haven't seen that one yet, check out my High Line video. I love the High Line. You can stand here. I'll go point it around for a second. Just got to do a quick pass so you guys can see what's happening here. A little too busy for Lisa, so we're just going to do a quick pass. Yeah, I think, Christian, what's tough is also they have the way the stables are on the west side, and so walking from Central Park to the west side can be a little precarious with all the car traffic. So it's tough, but I also get that, it's people's businesses and livelihood, and people who visit also love it. So I get that. That's why it's a controversy. Princess says so everybody's all gathered there. Yeah. So the finish line was right there. So everybody, they had a brewery, so you could grab a beer. I know that's a very popular thing, is to have a beer after a race. Recharge. Oh, if you see my Central Park video this week, I do walk through here, and a woman was doing that thing, that model pose where like they put their legs like this.
You can't see Sean. He's
It's sort of
trying
a
to
ballet-
demonstrate to me.
Sort of a ballet pose where the legs are perfectly like 45-degree angles.
Okay. On point shoes?
Yeah, yeah. Against the wall back there. So
Wow.
it's kind of. Sometimes we see models. Always good music. But I guess because of the race, there's not as many people here. Well, I guess the heat
it's also early.
Yeah,
All of the things.
all of the things. This is like the quietest we've ever seen the fountain area. Beer, need to stay hydrated. Well, it's the breakfast of champions, as they say. Beautiful. And this is like the quietest we've ever seen this. Except for the roaring band behind us.
There's a dog going into the fountain.
Oh, really? Oh, wow. Yep.
I've never seen that before.
Oh my gosh, Donna. Donna has added to the stroller fund.
Oh, wow. Thank you so much.
Donna, a huge, big,
Yes, thank you. I
big.
feel like we're going to get splashed.
Yep. So now I'm trying to get out of the way so you
He's
guys can
going
see
to
this.
shake when he comes out.
I hope we capture that. Well, Donna, a huge.
Thank you so much.
Huge. Thank you for contributing to the stroller fund for Mini Bagel. We are most appreciative. And to everybody, we so love getting to share New York City with you guys. Thankfully, we've ended up in a spot that's a little peaceful over here. There's a nice little breeze.
Oh, the breeze is wonderful.
I'm now covered in a nice layer of cool fountain water. Let's go over to the water so we can see the boathouse we were talking about before.
Well, we could walk that way.
Yeah, I guess why don't we end at the conservatory water since we were talking about that.
Yeah.
So this,
I've never seen a dog go into the fountain. That was something.
I'm sure I have, but yeah, I can't remember the last time. So this, this is part of the lake, often filled with turtles, so I think you might be able to see them swimming. LV says, smart dog, I join him. Yeah, if you guys remember when we went to Rockefeller Center and we jumped into the fountains there,
Yes, that was
the temporary fountains, that was pretty fun.
really good.
So if you check out our Fifth Avenue live stream, you can see us jumping in the fountain to cool off.
Sean sent me in first by myself. Then he joined me.
And then I joined. So the boathouse sadly closing. Now, they're looking for a new operator, so it will be back at some point.
Gregory is here. Hello.
Gregory, hello.
And LV, smart dog. I joined him. Yes.
We started
He had the right idea.
Awfully early today, Gregory. Gregory, Santa Barbara, California. So we started at 7:45 in the morning Eastern time. So it would have been 4:45 your time. A little early. Ah, Rachel and Christina, thank you so much.
Oh my goodness.
Adding generously to the stroller fund.
Thank you. Mini Bagel says thank you too.
We are deep appreciative. Thank you. And a big thank you to Donna, Weaver, Alabama. So we have a lot coming up from the east side. It's been so hot that I have not been making it terribly far from our neck of the woods. But I still have 2 slots for this week, so I have to think of what I want to do next.
We also have to figure out
The geese love it over here.
We also have to figure out next Sundays if we're going to do something.
Yeah, so next Sunday is a birthday. There's also a wedding that weekend, and we may have visitors, all you know, safety situation in mind. So TBD next week. TBD. Next week's may be moved to during the week.
Yes, we will see.
In fact, I would say it is highly likely it will be moved to during the week.
Oh my goodness, Clinton.
Whoa.
So much.
A big New York City. Thank you to Clinton.
Thank you.
To Mini Bagel Stroller Fund. Thank you to everybody. Just watching is
so much love for Mini Bagel today.
Such a joy just to get to explore New York City with you guys. I don't know if you could see that, but that was a stroller for the dog.
Oh, yes. I see quite a few of those.
Always makes me laugh. So if anybody is curious to go on the boat, 1 hour rental is $20. There's $20 deposit. So you give them $40, and then when you return the boat, you get $20 back. So $20 for an hour.
As long as you don't abscond with the rowboat.
You can't go very far. So we're going to head over to Conservatory Water, one of my favorite places. I've told you guys, I've been asking parents and nannies in the park about the strollers that they use in the stroller experience. The one we just saw was a Vista, which I have learned is obscenely expensive.
Very popular on the Upper East Side, but also very expensive.
It is easily the most common one I see. Unbelievably expensive. It is not the one we will be getting.
No. We found one that should do the trick.
Yeah, we found
3 wheels with the rubber tires.
A 3-wheeler with much bigger wheels, so meant for slightly more active, but I think the larger wheels for New York will also be good for getting over, I mean, literally just the ground we're walking on is like covered in cracks. And
then you hit cobblestones sometimes. And
so I'm hopeful that that will work out. And then we might also get, you know, a super teensy tiny one for, you know, if we need to hop to a shop around us or something, or just to do errands. And like in our building, we'd have to go to the laundry level and stuff. So TBD. Can get really crowded with boats, yeah. So photos, we mentioned it earlier, I don't know if you saw, but it sounds like the Boathouse restaurant is closing. Let's sit over here. A little bit of shade. Watch for poop. Guess there's some birds near that. So yeah, the Central Park Boathouse is closing. I guess I have to assume that the rowboats are operated distinct from the boathouse, but I guess I don't know that for a fact, so that hopefully this will be minimally disruptive. I know that the Central Park Conservancy, which kind of oversees the park, is looking for a new group to take over the restaurant, but I guess we'll see how long that takes and all that jazz. It's so sad too, because it's a beautiful place and it has been doing a lot of business, but I guess they just couldn't get the economics to work. I mean, this is something that I had sort of feared and wondered about, which is a lot of restaurants, you know, did close for some amount of time over the last couple of years, and may have been in, I mean, I would assume in the case of the Central Park that they probably had as good of a deal in terms of like rent and other stuff, you know, in terms of reaching some sort of agreement. But, you know, they just couldn't make the numbers work, I guess. So this is conservatory water, often known as the model sailboat pond. No model boats today. Sometimes they're not even in the water, but you see them kind of prepared around the, I don't see them today. That was a teeny tiny stroller. Duna? That one I bet folds up like to nothing.
It does. I've seen people with that on the bus. It seemed like it would be very short for
But
you,
that
though.
guy, yeah, that guy's like a foot shorter than I am.
Yes.
And he was
He's
bending over
yeah.
to push the stroller, so I don't think that would work for me.
No. I initially had wanted to get that, and then I realized, oh, that's not
Only Lisa will push the
That's
stroller.
not going to be comfortable. I don't even think for me, for a while, after a while, it would be comfortable.
It is funny, the things you start to pay attention to, and you're like, oh, that won't work.
Yeah.
And it costs $500. Ambrose says we had passed 6 I Love New York shirts. It's so funny when you see those.
This is not really the shade.
Let's go to the other side. We're walk towards.
Yeah.
We're going to walk towards the Alice in Wonderland statue, and actually we can walk over towards the Le Pont because that's usually got a good shady spot too. On the way, we will see the Hans Christian Andersen monument. Oh, and they have a little sign that says, "Bring Hans Christian Andersen to life." I've never seen that sign before. So I guess you could hear maybe a bio or some stories or something. That's cool.
Some
Exercise,
training.
yeah.
Got
Training.
a personal trainer.
Yeah, when I go to the Greenway on the east side, there's often personal trainers over there. Ooh, we have some either yoga or one of those meditation groups. Yeah, that was that Falun Gong, Falun Dai group. I did a walk on, I think it was 2nd Avenue one day, and there was a huge parade of theirs, totally out of the blue. I'll let you Wikipedia that if you choose. Interesting group.
Lots of kids climbing on the statue today.
Yeah, this one in winter when it gets covered in snow is so beautiful. She's all the way up.
Wow,
Huh?
she's sitting on her head.
Amazing. That's fun. So Rachel and Christina, you mentioned enjoying the view. So here's another view of the skyline. The Towers of Billionaires Row on 57th Street. And look at the size of that tour group over there.
Wow.
My gosh. Yeah, it's much cooler over here, huh?
Yes.
I don't know if you can, it might be a little small in the frame, but in the middle of the frame in the water, you can see a few ducks enjoying themselves, dipping their heads into the water. Beautiful, huh? grab the bench. Oh, okay. So we found a little bench over here. So there's a nice little restaurant here. It's, as you might imagine, it's not the cheapest choice in the world. I think the sandwiches are in the $10 plus range, and they're not particularly large, I should say. But, you know, if you're in New York, you're in Central Park, and prepared to spend a little bit of money.
There aren't a lot of options with actual.
Yeah, if you're in the park, there's not
sandwiches
many
and-
options. So, and now that the Boathouse is leaving one fewer, but it's a fun place. You grab a sandwich and a drink, and you can either sit up there, they have some seats, or you can grab one of these benches, and it's actually really nice. Yeah, those are the super tall towers of Billionaires Row. Very controversial because they're,
Oh, come on. Okay, I don't need it.
yeah, Lisa was just pointing the dog out, trying to keep it in the frame. They're super, 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 super expensive, and I guess the issue is also that a lot of the people who buy them don't actually intend to live in New York City for most of the year. It's more of an investment property, so they might be here less than half the year. So sometimes, like at night, I haven't done a ton of night walks recently, but if you do walk at night, you'll see
Here he comes.
the buildings
Hey, buddy.
are very empty most of the time. He's just off doing his own thing, huh?
Yep, living his life.
There's a playground in the direction the dog just went, and lots of fields where the dogs, you know, the owners throw the ball and the dog gets to run
He
around.
keeps stopping and looking back like, guys, where are you?
Yeah, catch up, keep up, keep up. What are you doing? That dog is still there, waiting to play fetch. There's another dog. Kind of Doberman looking dog over there. Oh, and he's back.
Hi.
Sorry for moving the camera so much. I'm just trying to keep an eye on the dog. That dog is anxious to play fetch. Yeah, no, thank you for joining us. I think we're coming to the end of the
Hello.
stream. Today is Sunday, and I think it might be Bagel Sunday. What do you think, Lisa?
I agree.
So I think we're gonna mosey on over. We're probably gonna go to a place called Tal Bagels.
It's one in our neighborhood.
Yeah, it's more of a
pretty good.
neighborhood spot. It's pretty good. People often ask what are our favorite bagels in New York City. I think Essa Bagel is probably one of the best bagels in New York City. There's a few of those around the city. ESSA. What else do we like? Sadel's. I always tell people if you want a sort of fancier bagel, well, it's more of a fancier experience.
Yeah.
So if you've ever heard of the restaurant Carbone or Parm, it's the same people who do that. And it's their kind of version of a Jewish deli, like an homage to a Jewish deli. And what's fun about Sadel's is Sadelle, apostrophe S. And so what Sadel's, their gimmick is they hand make the bagels, and you order a bunch of them and they bring them out on the stick, kind of like, you know, the olden days. So really like Sadel's. And then Lisa, we like the bagels, but also like a lot of the other stuff there is Russ and Daughters.
Oh, yes.
So that's on Houston. So
Yeah.
if you've ever heard of Katz's, it's not far from Katz's, and it's kind of a similar, you know, it's old world kind of Jewish deli. Russ and Daughters is fun because that would actually be a great place to like put together like a picnic basket. So if you're going to go like have lunch outside somewhere, you can get a whole bunch of stuff. You get some latkes, and they're kind of known for their smoked fishes and stuff. So
Yep.
if you're into the salmon and all that stuff, that'd be a good place to go. I feel like I'm blanking on something. I don't know. But today we'll probably do tall because it's just kind of our neighborhood spot. There's a couple in our neighborhood that are pretty good. There's also like a corner bakery that's pretty good. But
Oh yeah, that one's
we'll probably do tall.
Yeah, we'll pass that on our way home.
In any event, a big thank you to everybody for being here. Everybody for your super thanks. We can't appreciate that
Oh my gosh, so
more.
thank you so
You
much,
have
yes.
added to the stroller fund, and we are grateful. We wish everybody a really nice day. It was fun to walk through Central Park with you guys. Hope you enjoyed the flowers. Because we were buffering, I might cut out the flower section if I can and make a short or something with it, just so we can see all the flowers from before. They were beautiful. We got to see the triathlon, and we got to see the beautiful water, the peaceful water here today. So a big New York City thank you to everybody.
And we'll keep you posted about our plan for next week.
Yeah, it'll probably be
might do an
during.
early one or something. We'll see.
I think most likely it's going to be during the week. So we'll keep
But
you
you
guys
know, it is
posted.
my birthday, so I guess I can decide what we will do, right? Does that seem fair?
It seems fair. I'm trying to. I was silently explaining that there's a wedding the night before, and my dad and I will probably be taking the train back, possibly after midnight to get back.
Well, rally. It's my birthday the next
Exactly,
day, so
so-
you know, you're choosing to go to the wedding.
So we'll figure it out. We will figure it out. We'll make sure Lisa has the best birthday in the world, and we will stream as appropriate. But
All
thanks for
right.
spending the morning with us,
Yes.
guys. Everybody stay cool, stay hydrated, stay safe, and we'll see you
We'll
guys
see
next
you
time.
next time. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.